Hi guys, Captain Daly here, bringing you our sail plan for day 13 of our 14-day sailing cruise in the Dalmatian islands of Croatia. If you know of additional stops we should include in this plan, please comment below. And of course, you're always welcome to subscribe to my channel. Day 13 begins in the lovely anchorage of Lučice in the island of Brač. Our destination for day 13 is the fabulous Blue Lagoon. Very shallow water, but there's some places to anchor out in this area here. It looks Caribbean rather than Croatian. It's really pretty. Day 13 is a relatively short day. We have a church that we'll go by and a lighthouse, but it's the same lighthouse that we saw on day 2, so we may or may not go out of the way to photograph it. There's some restaurants. 21.4 nautical miles of sailing, only 4.3 hours of sailing. And we have 15 hours and 43 minutes of good daylight, with dawn at 0500 and dusk at 2043. So that'll leave us a lot of time to explore the Blue Lagoon or any other location that we see along the way that we want to explore in more detail. This is the 14-day sail plan. Each day is color-coded. This video concentrates on day 13 from Lučice on the island of Brač to the Blue Lagoon on the island of Drvenik, Veli. We leave Lučice and come into the first cove. It's called Milna. Uvala Ozbiva Milna Brač. And check it out. It looks like an interesting cove, medium population. This is probably a hotel with a swimming pool. Here's another swimming pool. It looks moderately interesting. We don't have to go there if we don't want to. But what there is there, which is interesting, is a Gothic church. And so we would like to visit this area in order to take a picture of that Gothic church. From this, here's where the Gothic church is. From this cove, we go to the lighthouse. And as I say, since we've seen it already, we may or may not go out of the way to take a picture of it. If we do, that's the route that we'll take around the lighthouse. Here's the lighthouse. And this is what we would look like sailing around the lighthouse. Maybe. From the lighthouse, we then continue on to the next cove, which is called Uvala Sactija. It's on the island of Solta. It's another Croatian cove, pretty. This one is a little bit more undeveloped with houses, and this one is more beachy with houses. None of them are very new houses. Interesting area. And then from that cove, we go to the next one, which is Tatinja Solta. Come into the cove. There's actually 3 coves here that we could take a look at if we choose to, and a restaurant if we want to eat here. Very rugged area, very pretty, very crystal clear, blue sapphire water. And then from this cove, we proceed on to the next cove, which is Paganica Solta. Go up into that cove, and it is relatively deserted and rugged and stony, rocky. But there are some deserted beaches, or I shouldn't say deserted, I should say isolated, very isolated beaches. And because of its isolation, it looks like it's popular. So it could be an interesting place to go. Who knows? We'll check it out. Then from Paganica, we make the sail over to the island of Drvenik Veli, and we hit one bay there, one cove there, called Solaniska Beach. And it's a rocky, sandy area. It looks like it's popular and has very little development there. Definitely more rocky than sandy. And then from there, we make our last stretch to the last night over to the Blue Lagoon in Drvenik Veli. This area here is all very, very shallow water. We won't be going into that with anything other than the dinghy, but we are able to moor here, and we want to get in the lee of this island if we can. And if the weather is too bad, well, we can always come back to another more protected cove and get out of the weather. But we'll see. We're planning on the weather being beautiful, even though this is Friday the 13th. Oops. Here's the cove, the Blue Lagoon. Isn't that pretty? Now look at this. Look at how pretty the water is. I mean, the water is just phenomenal. It definitely looks like the Caribbean. It's very, very nice. And we plan on overnighting here. So all that's left now is to go back and check for water and obstructions. We'll do this relatively quickly. We're coming out of Lučice and into the first cove. Nothing fancy. Just stay off the rock, stay off the side, and then into the bottom of that cove. Good water all the way down there. And then from that cove, we go to the lighthouse and pass around the lighthouse if we choose to. As I say, we probably have already seen it, so we really don't need to. And there are some rocks and some shallows off the point there. We have to maintain a little bit of a distance and make sure we stay away from them. And then from the lighthouse, we start exploring the island of Brač. Strakonica, it's the first cove that we explore on Brač. Good water, no problems going into that cove. The next cove is up this way, Sajita, and it also has good water, so there's no big concern there. There's, of course, this island that we need to miss, but it's visible, so it should be pretty easy to stay clear of that island. Coming out of there, we go to the next cove. The passage looks pretty good. This point of land has some shallows off of it. We want to be sure we give that point a pretty good berth. And then we go into Paganica, and we can go way back up into Paganica if we choose to. Good water all the way back up in there. And then from Paganica, we make the run over to Drvenik Veli and into the first cove at Drvenik Veli. And it has good water, the Solaniska Beach at Drvenik Veli. And then from there, we'll go around the point and into the area that we can moor so that we can see the Blue Lagoon. As you can see, the Blue Lagoon is definitely shallow water. We won't be sailing into these areas here, but we will be able to take the dinghy and snorkel, and we could have a lot of time if we choose to go straight here or go here in an accelerated fashion. Yeah, it's a short day, so this could be a lot of fun checking out the Blue Lagoon. Here's more detail on the lagoon. Some anchorages, some balls here. And then, of course, this is all good anchorage here. Most of the wind comes from the east, so we want to be on this western side of the island. And that's it. That is day 13. From Lučice and Brač to the Blue Lagoon in Drvenik, Veli. It's a short day, a fun day. This is the interior of the boat. This is, I believe, what our boat will look like, with the galley over on the starboard side and the mess on the port, and a chart table here towards the stern, towards the companionway, stairway. The electronics and the electrical gear all up in this area here. Beautiful boat. Can't wait to do it. And again, if you know of any locations we should add, please comment below, or any other comments you wish to make. And you are always welcome to subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video.